This podcast is hosted by RPP.
If you are easily spooked, creeped, or offended, this might not be the podcast for you.
All right, let's go.
Hello.
Hello.
You know what I'm going to do this time that we didn't do last week? Welcome to I Think My Fridge is Haunted from the top.
Yeah. Because last week we totally forgot.
We were like, oh yeah, by the way. Often. How are you? What's going on?
I'm really good. Apologies, I'm in the squeaky chair again. It's
Squeakers.
a very comfortable chair and it's swivelly as well. So,
I think we were just getting so into the story that we were like gyrating, like
Yes!
moving, like.
and then what happened?
Then tell me what happened. Yeah.
How are you? What's news?
Oh my God, I have had my up to my ears in my story, and I've spent a few days looking at the computer screen trying to make sense of just some very big words. Some very big words that I'm like, I don't know if I've got the brain for this one. But
Do you type them phonetically like I do?
Yes, I do. It just makes it easier for us to read and you to listen. It just makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've been kind of disappointed a little bit in myself this year. I finally got my Halloween tree up, which is one of my
I saw
traditions.
it's really cool.
Thank you very much. I've got a bit of a Scream theme going on this year. It's like a white tree with red tinsel and red globes, and I've put the ghost face mask in the middle of it.
Cute.
But I didn't put it up until the 17th or something. And I was just like,
That's okay.
I'm just not feeling Halloween this year, and I'm really upset about
Really?
it.
I'm totally feeling it.
Good. I think I just need to do more spooky things.
I bought an obscene amount of from the Nespresso shop. I got pumpkin spice cake flavored pods.
Oh.
So I'm on the pumpkin spice train every day.
Good. Yeah, I need to have more of mine. That's what I'm missing. I need to have more of
You
my
got to get
pumpkin
those
spice.
candles out. You got to get that sort of that spooky feeling.
Yeah, I went to TK Maxx too early, and I was like, oh, I can't get things yet.
But you also can't go too late, because we went last week because I said to Louis, they've got so much cute Halloween stuff at TK Maxx. They've got these soft blankets and pillows and
candles is the best part.
Yeah. And then I went last week, and we're still a couple of weeks out from Halloween at the time of recording.
What do they have set up already?
Christmas.
Fucking Christmas.
Yeah. And all of that cool Halloween stuff, not all of it, it was just the remnants of the Halloween. So next year I've got to go in January to get the Halloween stuff.
I think so too. I'm like, no, bugger it. I'm getting it tomorrow. As soon as possible, grab it.
Yeah.
Because we've just moved house, we were kind of umming and ahhing, going I don't know what kind of style we want to go for. And I was thinking of maybe curating my style for my home a little bit. And I was like, I don't know. And now it's too late. Most of the stuff's gone. I'm like, damn it.
Gotta wait till next year.
So I think I need to get Practical Magic had its 25th anniversary last week. So I was like, I've got to watch that movie. I love that movie. I think I need just some spooky nights. I really need to do it.
Yeah. Did you hear this wild story this week? This is from an article, ABC News America. After 189 bodies were found in Colorado funeral home, evidence suggests families received fake ashes. You didn't hear about this?
No.
What
the hell?
I could probably do a whole episode on this kind of stuff. Occasionally in America, a funeral home will just be discovered to have just lost control of the business, let's just say, to the extent that there are bodies in and around the crematorium, in the surrounding forested area, in the car.
Outside in the gutter.
They just get to a point where they can't keep up and the bodies just literally keep piling up. This reminded me of a story that I had heard on Ask a Mortician, Caitlin Doty, who I love, talking about a place called Tri-State, which was a crematory. And this happened, I believe, in about 2000, 2003, something like that. And something like 300 bodies were found on the grounds of this funeral home. And it was theorized that the family that ran the business, I mean, there were like skeletons of babies. There was, really awful things happened, and they had just completely let this business go, and they couldn't keep up.
Fuck.
And the theory was that because when people are cremated, sometimes people have mercury in their tooth fillings.
Right.
They had got mercury poisoning, the people that worked there, and they'd kind of lost their mind.
Right.
A little
Full
bit.
Mad Hatter. Like,
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so upsetting.
So this one in Colorado, I'm just going to go through the article really quick. Colorado funeral home, 189 bodies were discovered this month, appears to have fabricated cremation records and may have given families fake ashes. So essentially, they'd been giving people cremation certificates saying the bodies had been cremated by a certain cremation service. So this was the funeral home, and then they would get the cremation done at a second party.
Yes.
But those cremation companies said, no, we didn't do that cremation. We actually haven't worked with that funeral home for a couple of years because they weren't paying their bills.
Ooh.
So this... and this is the sad thing about it, because I'm really, really into like eco-funeral, really forward-thinking funeral services.
We have to.
And unfortunately, this was one of those services. They were called Return to Nature Funeral Home. And what they were doing was the authorities responded to a report of an abhorrent smell. And they found that there were all these bodies at this funeral home and they weren't getting cremated. But what the funeral home was doing, they were actually sending people concrete powder.
No.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's just bad on so many levels. This lady, Tanya Wilson, said, "My mum's last wish was for her remains to be scattered in a place she loved, not rotting away in a building." Return to Nature gave Wilson's family and some others death certificates stating their loved ones' remains had been handled by one of two crematories. But those businesses told Associated Press they were not performing cremations to Return to Nature on the dates included on those certificates. The Associated Press reviewed 4 death certificates shared by families. None of the families received an identification tag or a certificate that experts say are usually given to ensure cremations are authentic. Members of all 4 families described a similar consistency of the ashes that seemed like dry concrete. 2 of them mixed some ashes with water and said they solidified.
No.
And apparently it is not unprecedented that dry concrete has been used before by funeral homes to mimic human ashes, which is so bad, and there is no excuse for that.
No, absolutely not.
So there's just all these interviews with these really tragic family members that are like, you know, this is my husband or this is my mum or whoever, and we don't want them treated like that.
No.
So public records show that the people that owned Return to Nature, which is the funeral home in question, they opened it only in 2017.
Oh.
And they offered cremations and green burials without embalming fluids, which I'm really into. But they were beset by recent financial and legal troubles. Another client said that his mother's ashes were unusually heavy, so he and his sister took some of the ashes to a different funeral home for a second opinion. The funeral director there told the Associated Press that the ashes were unusually fine and dark, adding, "I've never seen anything that looks like that in the range of what cremated remains would typically expect to look like." And going from there, I'm going to go straight into my fact from the freezer.
Oh,
Facts from the freezer.
Facts from the freezer.
So cremated remains are made up of bone fragments that do not have any organic material left, which means they don't have DNA in them that could be used to identify individuals, according to Barbara Kemmis, director of the Cremation Association of North America. However, sometimes RNA is preserved in the bone fragments, and from that you can tell if the ashes are from a male or a female, and if they're human or an animal.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you can tell something from them.
Get a little something from them.
Yeah.
Not DNA. Well, that makes sense. But there you go. Can't believe they're using concrete. Come on.
It's just dirty. It's like...
Just ask for help by that
Just say,
point.
look, we're falling really, really behind. We're not going to be able to have it to you at this time. I just can't even.
Yeah, how horrific for those people to find out. Oh yeah, your dad's still here actually, under all these other fucking people.
And he's certainly not being refrigerated.
No. No. Oh, that's awful. But
It's bad.
Yeah, that's
really,
real bad.
really bad.
Interesting fact though. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My fact from the freezer this week is actually something local.
Oh.
Yes. So, on the corner of High Street Road and Kooyong Road,
Yes.
there is a stone in the ground. And if you have been to Armadale, you may have seen this. You may have walked straight over it and not even realised.
Trams and that. It's quite a leafy area, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like lots of bridal stores, lots of high-end shopping. But on the corner of Kooyong and High Street Road, there is a stone in the ground. I'll show you.
Oh, it's got words on it.
It's got words on it. And it just looks like the rest of the stones. So what it says, a curse upon the removal of the slab as it finally lays to rest. Witnessed, I think it's the 1st of December, 1989. A curse.
89?
89.
But it looks really old.
It looks so old. I reckon a high traffic area.
Why is there a curse?
Why is there a curse? And it's finally laid to rest? Who?
Is it
What?
finally lays to rest? It doesn't say, there's
doesn't
no
say.
context.
No, just a curse upon whoever gets rid of this stone.
That's random.
So random.
Okay.
And I didn't realize until someone went, do you know about the curse stone? And I was like, the what? Excuse me? Looked it up. What is it? And this is on Yahoo News. So the surprising truth behind cursed stone on Melbourne's footpath. A mysterious message carved into the footpath in the inner suburbs of Melbourne has raised questions over what it means and who's responsible. Any clue what history is behind this? So a slab located near the corner of Kooyong Road and High Street has been a long-appointed conversation among locals fascinated by the ominous message. It turns out that it was just a dark message, was a tongue-in-cheek jab at the ongoing construction in the area that had impacted several local businesses negatively at the time.
Okay, but still, it's not usually, I mean, you and me, sure, a curse
Absolutely.
upon your family here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, toy, yeah.
But...
Spitting on you, yes.
Yeah, but, regular people, especially people from inner city Melbourne, not usually high on their priority list to put curses on people.
Yeah, so there must have just been massive construction going on at the time. So that 89, going into the 90s, they're probably putting in the
lot
new
of change
and all that. And they just popped in a stone to say, well, fuck you, construction guys. You touch this, you get a curse.
But it's nicely made. It's not like
lovely.
someone's just written it with a stick in
No, it looks
wet concrete.
Like chiseled in stone.
Both of our facts were concrete based.
Oh my God, they were.
Random.
Connecting. We're connected.
It's so weird. Concrete.
Oh my God, concrete. Grim. Who knew? Awesome.
Thank you for that. That's very strange.
That's hilarious.
Love that.
Concrete based.
Oh,
Okay.
I want a cursed brick in my house.
I know, I really want one out the front. That'd be nice at the front of the house. Curse upon you.
Hey, creepy people. This is P&W, Haunts and Homicides. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Cassie.
Together, we explore stories of the paranormal and true crime throughout the Pacific Northwest. For each episode, we do a tarot reading to help us gain some insight on the topic as we share the facts of the case and our interpretations. You can find our episodes featuring true stories from infamous cases such as the misdeeds of Boeing, as well as lesser-known true crime cases like the murders in Tunnel 13.
As well as our spooky stories from Pike Place and Ravens Manor on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you'd like to listen. Have a creepy ass day.
Okay, so my story this week. It's going to be a bit loosey-goosey.
Cool.
There is a lot in this story.
It's been very intense lately around here.
It has. There's a lot going on. Let's talk about something relatively fun.
Cool.
I had to stop myself from getting into their lore too much because my brain was starting to implode.
Yeah.
I just couldn't quite get it right in my head. So this is going to be a little bit more of a skimming of a huge topic of the Unarius Academy of Science.
Unarius. Ah.
Now, if I say that incorrectly, I hope not. I've watched so much about it, I should know it. It's called the Unarius Academy of Science. Yes. And I think as soon as I start telling details and I start showing you photos, you'll go, I've seen these guys.
This is ringing a bell. Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes it can be put under cult. They don't say that they're a cult, but people say
they
they're
never
a cult.
do.
No.
Like
why would you?
Which cult have you heard of that actually says we're a cult? Join us.
But, you know, as far as cults go, this is a pretty good one.
All right.
And it's not as dark as most cults usually are. So
that's good.
It's a bit of fun. Let's have a bit of fun today. So welcome, Space Brothers.
Oh.
Come with me through the tunnel of stars. Here you will find worlds of cosmic love to which there are no end.
I'm in. Where do I sign?
Unarius Academy of Science, Center for New World Teaching. Gemma, if you had a past life, who or what do you think you were?
I think I've had a few.
Okay. Tell me.
So I definitely think I was a persecuted witch at Pendle Hill in the early 17th century. Mm-hmm. I also think that I was a person in the early 20th century, and I think I committed suicide in a forest in a car. And I had this dream years and years and years ago. I had this dream that I woke up in like a 1920s car, like, you know, with the ones with the skinny wheels.
Yeah.
And if I see one like at a car show, I to this day, I call it a suicide car.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I dreamed that I woke up in this car and my wrists were all bloody, and I just remember looking up at the trees, and it was like a European forest. It was not Australian. Mm-hmm. It was like a European forest.
Yeah. And
that was the whole dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating. I think you'd really like Unarius, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've thought about past life a lot, and personally, I think everything is made of energy. We're all made of atoms. They have to go somewhere.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing, like you can't destroy energy. It has to keep going.
Has to keep moving on. And whether it's you as a consciousness, I'm not sure I believe that, but I believe parts of you have to be a part of what moves forward.
Yeah.
We're all a part of something which is just atoms and energy and movement. So that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like I was also probably a witch that got absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Are you really living life if you don't relate to them a little bit?
It's true.
Yeah. So, Unarius, my sources for today are Wikipedia, Children of the Stars documentary, Unarius Academy of Science sites and their YouTube and all their social media posts, kqed.org, elcajon.gov, Censnur, cesnur.org, and standardhotels.com. Don't know why they had information, but they did.
Yeah, sometimes you find weird information on like car hire websites.
You're like, okay, cool. So the Unarius Academy of Science is an acronym for universal, articulate, interdimensional understanding of science.
Okay.
Did you want me to
Sounds
do that
a
again?
bit conspiracy theorist. Yeah, it sounds...
Bordering. We'll say bordering.
Sounds a little bit, I've done all my research and nothing you say is relevant because
you can't tell
I know
me
the
shit.
truth.
yeah, exactly. So, founded on February 14th, 1954 by Ernest Norman and his wife Ruth E. Norman, Unarius is a non-for-profit organization in El Cajon, California.
What year did you say it was?
1954.
Okay. Yeah.
I
A
say
golden age for cults.
spiritualism went off at the turn of the century.
Scientology is coming up around about that time.
Yeah.
A few other, very early Branch Davidians who started around that time.
Party seances, all that kind of thing. And
Westboro, frickin' Baptist Church.
yeah.
Goes way back to the 50s.
Good old 50s. So there's a big asterisk next to that founded date, and I'll explain. Mm-hmm. The organisation, religion, or cult to some, believes in advancing a new interdimensional science of life based upon the fourth dimensional physics principles. The principle was theorized by Albert Einstein, describing where you are not only in three-dimensional space, so length, width, height, but also in time. Time is the fourth dimension. Mm-hmm. So to know where you are, you have to know what time it is. Unary centres exist in Canada, New Zealand, Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and various locations across the US. The Unarians' view of the world is unique, but could be described as inspiringly positive, believing that, quote, negative acts must be compensated for by positive acts.
Like balance, it's like to bring balance back.
Yes, you've got to compensate it or else balance is all off.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like it. Negative acts must be compensated for. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. And they do so without leaning into any sexual or orthodox territories.
Which cults usually are synonymous with...
both those things.
You can't be married to your wife anymore because she belongs to me now. Or, and other
fun
gross
things.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ernest and Ruth taught that all life holds the ability for reincarnations, the immortality of the soul, and the indestructible energy that each of us carries over from our past lives and that sway our present and future lives.
So, in essence, you have to be reincarnated.
Yeah, everyone is reincarnated all the time as different people, and what you did in a past life will carry on to your next life.
So, a sort of Buddhist kind of basis there, a bit of an influence.
Yeah, interesting you say Buddhist.
Okay.
Because it definitely goes into that.
Right.
So Unarius was established to teach the fourth dimensional science, aka the science of life, incorporating new age themes such as channeling past life memories, karma,
Right.
harmonic frequencies, and reincarnation with a focus on spiritual planets. The root of this belief system included being in contact with the Space Brothers and a prophecy that predicts a mass landing of 32 spaceships on Earth sometime in the year 2001 to bring a time of peace. So, yeah, they also believe...
2001 was not a good year.
No, it certainly wasn't.
I think they got lost.
Yeah, well... There's something on that, isn't there? So they believe that the solar system was once inhabited by ancient interplanetary civilizations.
Okay. What's the Atlantis and
Yes.
things like that?
Yeah, thinking Star Trek.
Yeah.
Thinking they're interdimensional, lots of different civilizations going on and on Earth. So the space...
Pyramids.
Building
the pyramids.
Aliens did it.
Stonehenge.
Yeah, all of that. But it goes back even further than buildings, the air, all of that. They, like, from the very beginning, aliens were on Earth. Martians, if you will.
Right.
The Space Brothers.
I love the word Martians. It's such a 40s word.
I know,
It's
isn't
like
it?
all aliens must come from Mars.
Martians.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Do you remember that movie, My Favorite Martian? Yeah. Loved that film.
Christopher Lloyd.
So the Space Brothers or aliens were said to be human beings who lived on Earth and other planets outside the solar system a long time ago, described as more advanced than humans spiritually and scientifically.
That's pretty forward thinking, considering a lot of people at that time, like I said, thought that Martians come from Mars.
Yes.
Because we didn't really know.
Yeah.
We didn't know that there was anything outside of the solar system.
Yeah, it was just ours.
Yeah. So to think beyond that is a little bit forward thinking.
It's interesting, and I think that's how they all found each other as well. Mm-hmm. In the Children of the Stars documentary, students of the organization believed movies and series like Star Wars, Star Trek, 1984, and even Flash Gordon are actually memories of the creators' past lives or a psychic remembrance.
Flash Gordon was an aspect of their past life. I want to go there because fashion.
The fashion.
So much lame.
Lamar. So much. So gold and shiny.
Yeah.
So they believed it was a psychic remembrance, not a work of fiction. They believed Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, was a brother, and that Star Trek wasn't science fiction, but a recreation of what happened to him in a past life. Now, I'm saying this in the past tense. They still believe this. This is still a core belief. The documentary, I highly recommend watching. It's free on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Very, very good. But they talk about Star Wars and Star Trek, and they go, it's not fake. It was real. And I go,
yeah.
okay. Yep.
But there are other cults that really like Star Trek as well. Like Heaven's Gate. They loved Star Trek.
It just must have been so...
validating?
Yes, validating. They go, they get what I mean.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything on Gene Roddenberry actually having to do with anything.
But he was a great influence on them.
Absolutely.
Right.
It was just so well thought out. It's just brilliant the way it is. But they're like, no. He knew to write all that because it happened to him.
Yeah.
So they believe these movies and TV shows depicted the world we had previously and will live in again if we can overcome the negativity of our world.
This is that writer, Gene, what was his name?
Gene Roddenberry.
I'm just imagining he's got this Hollywood house, and then sometimes every morning he gets up and there's a huge fruit basket outside, and he looks up and there's children of the corn staring at him from the bushes, leaving you an offering,
doing the sign, the hand sign, can I be in the next series?
Yeah.
I've got some good ideas.
Do you need anything?
Yeah.
Do you want me to go get some coffee?
Are you good?
You good? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So on the surface, this could just look like another UFO cult. But Ernest Norman stressed his spiritual teachings as the key to personal development. Oh my God, big words, see? And mastery over material circumstances. In one instance, he described UFO or flying saucer chasers as people pursuing an escape mechanism.
Where's the lie?
I mean, it's just a little bit ironic when I tell you what his beliefs were. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
they're doing the escape. Okay. Yep. Sure. As an organisation, Unarius is strongly opposed to its common classification as a religion. Unarius calls itself a place of teaching interdimensional science, spirituality, understanding, and high-energy physics, not a religion. The Space Brothers involve a Western concept of good and evil and an Eastern concept of karma. Higher entities are channeled. The texts read like sacred scriptures, but Ernest criticized religion in several of his books, and yet also claimed to realize that many individuals were still at a point in their evolution where religion still served a positive purpose and to keep them from harming their fellow man.
I guess at the end of the day, you can't really scientifically measure karma. So that's when you sort of cross this line of where is this a scientific organization or is it a religion?
The blending of spirituality and science, which it's hard to do. It's very hard to do, but gosh dang, they do it, and they do it a lot.
Right.
Yeah. So Unarius beliefs can be described into 4 kind of themes. So 1, intelligent life on other planets and galaxies. 2, an infinite creative intelligence. 3, that human beings are developing towards an advanced state of consciousness. And 4, the hope of a landing to bring a higher time of peace in our galaxy. So they're kind of like the core beliefs, that they want to focus on.
Where does it go wrong though? Like, a lot of these, it's got to fall down somewhere.
Well, I think that's why I wanted to preface this. Like, this is not like other cults. If you're waiting for the shoe to drop,
The Nike shoe?
the Nike shoe.
The Heaven's Gate. They all wore the same Nikes.
Did I unintentionally make a great pun?
Yes.
The Nike shoe to drop. Maybe just enjoy the journey that is Unarius, because it's just wild.
Okay.
It's just wild.
Cool.
So the purpose of the research organisation is to awaken the individual to previous life encounters, the clairvoyant aptitude of the mind, and the reality of one's spiritual connection.
Do they have a uniform?
So funny you say that, and I've got to show you some photos of them. There's not necessarily a uniform so much as encouragement to dress as extraterrestrials.
I was going to say, it's either like a silver one piece or it's like a cloak.
Yeah, the cloaks and everything. The costumes are possibly the best part.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I mean, Flash Gordon is an inspiration. Of course the costumes are going to be good.
Exactly. So who started this? Who is Ernest Norman and who's Ruth Norman? I'm going to start with Dr. Ernest L. Norman, or also known as Raphael.
Oh.
Yeah, hello. Here we go. So Ernest Leland Norman, born November 11th, 1904, was a spiritual leader and co-founder of the Unarius Science of Life and the Educational Foundation, which later became known as the Academy of Science. Ernest was described as a child prodigy, and that is in air quotes. Claimed that he was...
Did he describe himself?
He did.
It was...
It was Ernest. Ernest claimed that he had been born with an abnormally large cranium and as a child already wore adult-sized hats.
Oh.
Ernest
Cool story.
Cool, Ernest. Ernest constructed his first microscope at age 7, claimed to have read all of his father's books eagerly, self-educating himself alongside his formal schooling. He was exceptional at math as a teen, read and experimented with clairvoyance, palmistry, and fortune-telling in his early 20s.
Wow.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Claiming to possess psychic ability, Ernest claimed to have told women of their loved ones' whereabouts and often deaths during World War II years.
So I just want to see this guy's online dating profile and I just want to know how many swipes he gets.
Yeah.
Which are the good swipes? Left?
Yeah, I think swipe right. Is that it? Yeah. Super like Ernest. What a guy. What a guy.
Looking for someone to start a cult with.
Yeah. Looking for my other person.
Yeah.
My co-cult leader.
The tea to my dough.
Yeah. I wanted to make like the Kool-Aid to my cordial to my Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Before starting the grassroots work for Unarius, Ernest worked for the Borderlands Science Research Association in San Diego, California as contributing editor for the Round Robin Journal. Now, in brackets, I have New Age Spiritualism Research Paper, ? I tried to look up what these people did, like what this paper was.
Right.
And there wasn't like a blurb. There wasn't like this is what we do. So I read a little bit and I think it's just New Age Spiritualism, like spreading the word basically and research into it.
Like spiritualism as in like the 1930s, like seances, or a spiritualism, like New Age spiritualism as in the age of Aquarius?
It's like
higher beings.
Yeah.
We're going to graduate.
Yeah, I don't get into it as much, but a huge part of it was Nikola Tesla. He's huge. He is considered an archangel within Unarius, and his work is really highly regarded in their science kind of elements of their beliefs. Yeah. He's a huge part of it. So I think it was like pioneering what's the latest technologies and why is that good for my palm reading.
I mean,
like,
Nikola Tesla worked in energy.
Yes, exactly.
So it works.
Yeah.
It's not a
surprise.
stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. He was also worked as a minister for a spiritualist church for 15 years. So he was already deep into the New
I
Age
suppose,
thought.
like, traditional spiritualism, trying to reach the other side.
Mm-hmm.
It's not far off from, graduating from that to we can become high beings, we can become aliens, we can travel interdimensionally. It's really not that far away.
No, and the thought of like energy, and we are energy, surely we can reach that higher state of consciousness. Like, I can see where they're coming from. I don't like shit on them too hard. I can see the stretch. Like, I can see it.
And I can see how people would get on board with that too.
Absolutely. Like,
if you're not a person that is really on board with, like we were saying in the plague, a person needs to believe in something, whether it's a religion or a belief system. People like to follow something.
Well, I think I said last time as well, it's too scary to think that there's nothing. Nothing matters, actually.
Humanity by our nature wants to follow something. And if you're like not sure about, if you're kind of on the agnostic sort of side, this could be, because it's more science-based, it could be attractive to some people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I totally agree. So in February of 1954, Ernest met his future wife, Ruth, at a spiritualist convention in Los Angeles. It's wild to me that they had spiritualist conventions in 1954.
Oh, no, back then it would have been big. Yeah, it was big.
It just, I don't know, like, I suppose, like, such an image of the 50s in your head, and you think about this stuff and you go, wouldn't they have been like, no devil worshippers? Like, probably were anyway.
No, from like the 20s onwards, like spiritualism was a big thing. My great grandma was a devout spiritualist.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to look more into that kind of side of it, because I didn't get into it obviously now, but I would love to get into that spiritualism side.
It's interesting. I identify as a spiritualist.
Yeah.
I actively attended the spiritualist church for years. I don't at the moment because my local spiritualist church are a bunch of nuts. And that is the danger with spiritualism. Like, you can get people that are in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, like all organised religions or organizations, there are going to be extremists. Yeah, absolutely. I think I would too identify that way, but like just like self-practicing at home.
Spiritualism is also more prevalent in England than here as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Australia. So at this convention, a clairvoyant told Ernest that he had 3 white bearded men following him with large stacks of books, a sign of Ernest bringing in the education to the world that was needed. The 3 spirits were recognized as Elisha, Ezra, and Enoch, 3 holy and wise men from the Bible. I apologize if I pronounce that wrong at all, but from what I can see, that's how it's pronounced. The books they were carrying were the books Ernest was to write in his lifetime, or rather, this lifetime.
Ah, yes. For there is not only one.
After meeting at this convention, Ernest went on to write first of many books. The Elysium, published in 1956, followed by the Anthenium, published in 1964.
So he got on board with this pretty quickly. If he is in 1954 going to this spiritualist convention, in 2 years he's released a book.
Yeah.
He's got onto this very, very quickly.
It seemed like he had such a presence that people were telling these things. People are following you. Spirits are following you because you're important. So he believed that, like, well, I've got to get
one.
So funny you say that too, actually. So with Ruth's assistance, Ernest gave a 12-week lecture called Pathway to the Stars in Los Angeles.
12 weeks?
12 weeks. I don't know if that's like full time, but
Yeah, like every day.
damn, you probably could. Teaching how energy functions, of what he saw in other worlds, psychic protection, and parapsychology, the study of alleged psychic phenomena such as synchronicities, apparitions, and near-death experiences. Mm-hmm. In this lecture, Ernest claimed that people of planet Earth were being guided and watched over by a large fraternal brotherhood called Unarius, which was formerly known as Shambhala, the Tibetan Buddhist tradition.
Right.
Or the White Brotherhood on Earth, which was another spiritualist thing I didn't get into. I read a very short amount about it. It's very like higher beings and reaching that higher state of consciousness, similar kind of ideals, but different circles, I'll say.
Yeah.
And that any human being could make contact with these higher beings, sometimes also called the space brothers or brothers of light, because everyone is capable of using psychic abilities.
Some people believe that.
Yeah.
Some people, believe that it's just like a muscle and you just have to exercise it. Potential. I don't know if I believe that, but it could be true.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows? Unarius was unofficially kind of formed when Ruth and Ernest met, but was officially formed as a non-for-profit corporation in the state of California in 1957 as Science of Life. Mm-hmm. Students believed Ernest to have been a reincarnation of Jesus himself.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
We found him. We did it. And was overshadowed by the Archangel Raphael in these earthly incarnations and in previous lifetimes. So Archangel Raphael was not the same as the biblical Archangel Raphael.
Okay, right.
Different. As the title of Archangel within the vernacular of Unarius meant Supreme Master. And the name Raphael was actually an acronym for Radiant, Absolute, Pure, Healing, Infinite, Eternal Light.
That's crap.
Yeah, so it's with an I instead. So I had to make it work with the...
Oh, really? They even
Yeah.
had to change the spelling.
Yeah, so they could get
Did
the
they?
acronyms.
So, but it only works in English.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, who knows? Who needs to know in other languages? Yes, they love acronyms. God damn, they love an acronym. So part of the hierarchy of higher beings who oversee the development of the universe, Unarian Archangel Raphael does not surpass God, also known as the infinite creative intelligence. But they are high up there.
Right.
Ernest Norman wrote 20 books in his lifetime.
So they believe in God?
They believe in the infinite creative intelligence.
Okay.
So a higher being, not God, but a creative intelligence, which is basically the same thing.
Right.
So many people came from like Catholic Christianity backgrounds and they're like, no, it's not the same. But it's so like the ideas are very similar.
Yeah.
Very.
It seems quite formulaic in the way of
Yes.
a religion.
Yeah, definitely. So I think they were just like,
How is this not a religion?
exactly. I don't know. That's what they say. So Ernest Norman wrote 20 books in his lifetime covering spiritualism, theoretical physics, extraterrestrial life, and even poetry.
So is this how he made his income? Like, is this his job?
It seems like.
Lana, if he can do it, we can.
Exactly. Come down to our 12-week lecture. Listen to us. Yeah, I think it was off like the classes and the talks and everything. They would charge for them and
the books. And
yeah,
right.
Exactly. So Ernest Norman died in 1971 due to pneumonia and influenza.
Okay. He wasn't old. He was like
He wasn't that old, so was it?
less than 70.
Yeah, exactly. So he just got pneumonia, influenza. Poor dude.
Yeah.
So before Ernest died, to return to his home planet, he told Ruth, "It is your mission to prepare people of Earth for the arrival of the space visitors."
Okay.
Now, no disrespect to Ernest. whatsoever. But Ruth was truly the lifeblood of Unarius.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is where Heaven's Gate got it wrong, because they tried to make it like you are a higher being, you are an alien, you will not die, you are immortal.
Yeah.
So then when one of the leaders did die,
Yeah. Chaos.
you know, Herf Applewhite was like, I'm going to have to scramble to figure this out because that wasn't in the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas these people are like, when you die, you will be transformed into whatever your next
I'll find you on my
incarnation.
Next life.
Yeah.
There was a few mentions of in the documentary, where they're just, it's just like breathing air. They're like, death isn't real, so it doesn't matter anyway. They just so believe that when you die, air quotes, you just pass on to the next life. So death doesn't really happen because you just transfer into the next.
Right, going into the next room of existence.
The next life. So you... Yeah. And
it's
then
like an evolution.
Yeah, and you get reincarnated as something else to help planet Earth because we are the most important and we need the most help. God damn.
Where's the lie?
Where is the lie? After Ernest's passing, Ruth becomes a space goddess known as Archangel Uriel. So,
I'm expecting a really cool costume to be in her future.
oh yeah, not just one, but so many. She's an absolute icon. I didn't say at the start as well. This story was brought to me because of my good friend Scarlett, who I mentioned in the last episode. For, I think it was Halloween or as a birthday or something, she dressed up as Ruth Norman. And she had this huge pink
That's so
wig.
obscure. I love that.
She loved it. She was like, I found this cult and it's so cool. And it's this and this happens. And look at the car and all this. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And then coming onto the podcast, I was like, what was the name of that woman? And she told me, I was like, right. So
I'm going in.
Yeah, I'm going in. I was like, sorry to do this halfway through, but Scarlett, this is totally for you. So thank you for that. So Ruth E. Norman. Ruth Niels was born 18th of August, 1900 in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, so she's older than Ernest.
Yeah, by like four
years,
a couple of years. I want to point out as well, she's a Leo, so good leader.
Yeah.
She and her family moved to Pasadena, California 3 years later, where she grew up with her 5 siblings, growing up in a poor and rough childhood, having very little education and worked in labor from a young age. As a teenager, Ruth worked as a maid and a fruit packer. She worked to support her family, with her paychecks going to her father, who she later described as being abusive.
Right.
Ruth loved anything to do with the arts, music, dancing, anything creative in nature, finding herself in local plays and theatre productions.
It's probably an escape from her unhappy home life.
Absolutely. And students at Unarius described Ruth's early years as being a sparkling jewel in a mud hole. So in 1918, she married, she had a daughter. The couple divorced in the 1920s, with her husband Frank gaining most of the custody of her daughter, while Ruth still had access. And Ruth marries like 3 or so times before Ernest.
Really?
Yeah. It was
Wow.
interesting. I think they were like just couldn't keep up with her because
Yep.
she was so good. From the mid-1920s through to the 1940s, Ruth worked various jobs and positions, including opening, running, and selling her own restaurants, a real estate broker, resort manager, nanny, model. Ruth herself says she had 2 to 3 dozen different positions.
Right. She's a hard worker.
She's a hard worker.
Hustler.
Yeah, absolutely. She was very charismatic, a very warm person, and many were drawn to her. Traits necessary for a good leader.
Exactly.
So in the 1940s, she enrolled at the Church of Religious Science, where she studied and was introduced to psychic healing in that decade. The church believed in the New Thought movement, the belief in accumulated wisdom and philosophy of ancient thought from various origins such as Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Chinese, Vedic, Hindu, and Buddhist.
Right.
Lots of different ideas. Over time, she also became interested in spiritualism, channeling, and past life regression.
Yeah.
We can see where this is going.
Yes.
So fast forwarding to 1954, at the psychic event where Ruth meets Ernest Norman, he tells her she was a daughter of a pharaoh who protected Moses. It's hard to say no when you hear something like that.
I know. That's a hell of an opening line.
I see it now.
It's better than come here often.
Yeah, exactly. Thinking of where she's come from to being told she was the daughter of a pharaoh.
Yeah. Like it's not been all for nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's been for a reason.
Exactly. That validation.
Yeah.
Validation. Said by the students of Unarius, Ruth and Ernest married the day they met. They didn't actually, but they might as well have been.
Okay.
Which I'm pretty sure they both had marriages still.
Right.
They
Okay.
met.
Maybe they just married in their minds.
Yeah, definitely. Spiritually. Celebrating their anniversary in the birth of Unarius on February 14th. Ruth first worked as Ernest's typewriter, a skill she claimed to have learnt in her sleep. She wrote Ernest's channeled information, writing books upon books about healing and trips into the solar system. Mm-hmm. The organisation gained a large number of followers from other New Age and mystic groups, thanks to Ruth's compelling presence and interactions with followers, including reports of her exuding bolts of energy to others.
Sweet.
Yeah, powerful being. There's like,
Does she do it to music though?
oh, she's got to have the drama. She's got to have the drama of it all. In the documentary, there's a really cool scene where Ruth is walking around to all the followers and she's touching them on the head, very Pope-like, and they're just weeping, crying in her presence, just having this huge emotional reaction to her.
Right. I was thinking more like in that Black Eyed Peas video clip where they're having a dance party in a car park and when she, what's her name in the Black Eyed Peas?
Fergie.
Fergalicious Death. You when Fergie, like every time she like bumps, like
They go
the guys go flying backwards and she like.
Very that.
Yeah.
But like emotionally.
That's what came to my mind.
Yeah. That's what she was doing. She was throwing it back.
Right.
The couple discussed with students revelations of their past lives, including, of course, Ernest being Jesus, but also Ruth being Mary of Bethany among some of their past identities. Ruth stated that she had lived about 50 other lives over several million years. She recalled being several well-known and a few obscure people on Earth, as well as beings from other planets and an archangel.
Right.
So just to name some of her past lives.
I bet Cleopatra's in there.
Oh, so funny. No. But I bet she did.
Everyone, like, I feel like everyone's like, oh, I was Cleopatra.
I was
like,
definitely Cleopatra. Not quite Cleopatra, but how about Isis of Egypt?
Oh, wow. She went straight to the top.
Yeah, she's like, stopping down there.
No
Got
way.
straight up.
No, not good enough.
Isis, Peter the Great of Russia.
Oh.
Queen Maria Theresa of Austria.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
Maria Therese, Marie Antoinette's mum, I think.
I want to say yes.
Yeah.
I want to say
think.
yes. Yeah, probably. If it's in the list that I'm about to read, then yes. Queen Elizabeth I of England.
Sweet.
Awesome. King Arthur of Camelot. Emperor Husain of China.
Okay.
The Dalai Lama, and even the Mona Lisa. Just to name a few.
Yeah.
Just some common ones.
Wow.
This was of a list of like 30. There are it's in the documentary. So many. And I was like, it was all you. It was you the whole time.
Oh my God.
Why wouldn't it be?
Was she Pharaoh Khufu?
Pharaoh Khufu, probably.
He built the pyramids.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
definitely.
He built like the really big
no.
ones.
Yes, she is on the list. I remember
Right.
seeing the pit. I'm sorry, I'm getting violent. I'm throwing things.
We're razzed.
Such an icon. She was everyone.
Yeah.
So like Ernest, she too became known as an archangel.
But not the shit people.
Not the shit people.
Only the ones that,
No.
did big things.
Yeah, the best ones.
The best ones. So
Of
she's
course.
not like saying she's Hitler or...
No. Oh, no.
Well, they were kind of contemporaries anyway, but like she's not saying she
Yeah.
was some terrible.
ScoMo. Not those people. So like Erna, she too became known as an archangel. She was Uriel, so universal, radiant, infinite, eternal light. Now, the best part, Ruth is an absolute icon and she knew it. Let's talk about her outfits. Let's do it. So just swipe to the right for me. That's her in the middle there.
Oh, now, my Lord.
I'm going to put a heap
happening?
on Instagram. I'm going to put a heap because Ruth wore a collection of brightly coloured, elaborate costumes and was often photographed by the media wearing regal gowns, wigs, and holding a sceptre or a single rose.
Oh. She does have like a Queen Elizabeth I influence.
Yes, very, very like...
Her hair's like a Christmas tree.
Yes.
It's like a sculpture and it's got lights in it. And
my favourite is the big dress with all the planets on it.
That's what I'm looking... I can't look away.
It's amazing. Look
We
at
have
her.
to put these online.
Absolutely. She's got the big headpiece. She's got...
And this
rainbow
one,
gloves.
she's a gay icon here.
Oh, yeah.
She's wearing the flag.
Ally.
This one's an 80s fantasy.
Yeah. It's the pink fairy floss
See, look,
weaves.
it's Elizabeth I. Like, there's a lot of that big collar, like big solid collars behind her.
And she does look like she's very sweet. If she was wearing normal clothes, she'd be like a sweet old lady. She's gorgeous. She really, really is.
And this one, she's got like backup dancers.
The boys dressed up as little cupids.
Yeah, they've got little wings on their ankles, and she's got like a star tiara. There's a lot of tulle.
A lot of tulle, a lot of lame.
A lot of lame.
Yeah.
Love.
I love it. That's one of my favorites as well. Just from the start of the documentary, she's got these like...
I feel like she's staying up a lot of nights crystalling.
Rhinestoning.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. We know what it's like, but why do you have all these followers if not to help you rhinestone? So Ruth stated that her outfits mirrored the practices of extraterrestrials whose attire, she said, was brighter and more radiant than any clothes on Earth.
All these years we've been thinking they just have like really simple suits.
No,
because they have no need for earthly pap.
Not instead they've got so much tulle, scepters, crowns, the whole deal.
It's like it's a disco fantasy.
It is.
It's Xanadu. It's
yes.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
It's Miss America.
She looks like what's her name that comes out of the
Cake.
I think it is Flash Gordon. She comes out of the tube. She's a meme as well. She comes out of the tube and she's like, 10,000 years. I've forgotten. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's Flash Gordon.
Okay.
She's one of the villains, but she's got the big horns and the big cape and everything. Oh, it's got to annoy
Maleficent?
Very Maleficent.
She's
energy.
Probably a style icon of
Absolutely.
Of hers too.
I love it. I think she's just the most iconic. And she wore this every day in LA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was wearing there was like low-key caftans and things like that. But she always had the scepter.
To go to the post office.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just to do the errands.
Right.
Shopping.
And then there was Saturday Night Fantasy.
Oh, yeah. And then there's the full fantasy.
Right.
I love it. So at the group's headquarters, still, she has a gold-coloured throne that was decorated with peacock feathers.
Of course.
It's very like the peacock cane chairs kind of energy.
Yes.
Very that.
Very 70s.
Yes.
Love.
Very. Ruth also became well known for driving a blue 1969 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, which I think...
I think I accidentally swiped to. I was like, was this just Lana's weekend?
Yeah, what's she doing?
It's a car. It's decorated with UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome your space brothers, it says.
Yeah, so airbrush on the side.
It's all airbrushed. It's got like UFOs and stars, and it's got a giant UFO on the top too.
It sure does.
Wow.
Yeah, big metal UFO on top. It's like blue, beautiful, like dark blue, and it's got the UFOs. On the front, it says Uriel. like a massive font on the top of it.
I want to know where this car is now. I hope someone's looking after it.
They've still got it.
Oh.
So the car remains with with Unarius and is driven every year for the annual El Cajon Mother Goose Parade, which is a Thanksgiving parade.
Yeah, yeah.
And the annual Interplanetary Conclave of Light celebration, which I will get into. Okay, so after the death of her husband, Ernest, Ruth led the organization and served as the primary channeler, along with two other teachers, Louis Spiegel and Thomas Miller. One of the messages channeled by Ruth in March of 1974 predicted a space fleet from the Intergalactic Confederation was to land on Earth before December 1974.
Very Star Trek.
Very.
Yeah, confederations,
Absolutely.
intergalactic.
They're coming. They're coming.
Right.
Ruth even purchased a 67-acre property near Jamul, California.
Did she get the money for that, like in the divorce settlement?
Yeah, probably.
That's what I'm
Black
guessing.
Widow.
Right.
Black Widow. She's loving it. To serve as a landing site for the extraterrestrials, she found it on a drive with a student in that beautiful Cadillac. They were just driving around and she got drawn to this area, and when they came to this fence, it said for sale. So it must have been a sign.
Right.
So, 32 ships made of crystals and gold would land atop each other to create a university, with the Earth's ship being the 33rd. So that all these spaceships would come
It's imaginative.
it's a very big tower, and they have a mural of it at the Academy of Science.
They need a mural because
Yeah.
it never happened.
They're just like, it's going to happen, guys. It's going to be exactly
It's
like
one of those
this.
things where they just have to keep putting the date further and further.
Yeah, they definitely did. So each ship would bring 1,000 scientists, and all of Earth's people could come and learn from them.
Yeah, but you know what? Americans are just gonna bitch. They're taking our jobs. Where are we gonna put 32,000 scientists?
Yeah.
Where are the jobs gonna come from?
They're killing God. They did the... Yeah, exactly. So Ruth did
So they're
end up-
basically refugees.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's going to take them? And
Who's
then all
gonna
the
look after
countries
them?
are going to bitch and moan. They're all going to fight. You take them. No, you take them.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not a good thing.
No. Well, it was...
It's like, but we came here to save you.
Yeah,
Like,
we're here to help
like,
you.
You kind of, have to work with us here.
Yeah. No, don't
Don't have it in the budget.
go back to where you came from. All that kind of funny shit, isn't it? Ruth did end up changing the landing dates a few times,
Right.
actually, explaining the...
Saw that coming.
Yeah, explaining the ongoing Confederation efforts to prepare humanity for their landing as the reason for the delay. So they're like, no, the Confederation, that we're not ready for them yet. Ruth settled on a date in 2001. It was kind of vague.
Right.
2001.
Yeah.
She believed the aliens were
because
coming...
of a space odyssey. Is it because of the movie?
Is it because of that,
Yeah,
guys? Is
yeah.
it because I think it was just the millennia fever dream that was Y2K and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
It was in the 70s. She was
Just
guessing these dates.
yeah, but isn't that when the Space Odyssey movie came out? Like,
Yeah. She saw that and she's like, that's a really good idea. I'm going to take that.
yeah.
She believed the aliens were coming to restore the lost teachings of Atlantis,
Of course.
to the Earth.
Yes.
And their revelations were to free humanity of crime and disease, ushering in a new era of learning.
It's never going to happen.
I know.
It sounds great, but
It'd be lovely. She even bought herself a whole new wardrobe for her tour of the universe that was to come after their landing.
sweet.
Awesome. She got all new costumes, all new wigs. She was like, let's go, I'm ready.
Imagine just being like the costume person for that. Like,
She comes in, she's like, right,
clear your calendar.
here are my measurements. Go, go, go.
A lot of those costumes are one size fits all. They're just basically like a bunch of material with a head hole.
Big ponchos. Shiny ponchos.
Yeah, like make them extra long so that I can just get on a massive podium and it still reaches the floor.
Yeah, exactly. It seems this date was often pushed back either due to Earth not being prepared enough, Ruth actually learning that this was just healing of her past traumas, and most importantly, that we as Earth were actually aborting the landings ourselves with too many negative forces, resulting in some students doubting Ruth's abilities and leaving the group.
Yeah, newsflash, Earth's never going to be ready.
No. We're not quite there, ever. In 1975, Ruth used the proceeds of selling her home to rent a storefront, lavishly decorated with murals from outer space, and Ruth herself, plus dioramas of Atlantis and their home planet, turning Unarius into the Academy of Science that is still open today.
Wow.
So Ruth pioneered a form of past life therapy, teaching her students how to recall details of the experiments from their past life incarnations by performing in full costume, full hair and makeup, unscripted films.
Like I said, where do I sign?
Where do I sign? I'm ready. Get me in there, coach. So the films were a way for students to discover and heal from their past lives. You want this. I know you do.
I just want to drop to my knees and yell to the sky, Mendoza!
That was it. I mean, that's what they did. People found this the experience quite therapeutic.
I was going to say, it's therapeutic theatre.
So they just kind of holistically pick out costumes, pick out maybe there was a theme, usually not, no scripts, and they just hit, record and go.
Right.
Whatever comes out is your past life coming through. We need to heal these traumas. We need to get through them.
And it wouldn't be difficult to build people up into almost a psychotic high feeling.
Yeah.
Being
validation.
and otherworldliness.
Yes.
I've taken dance classes before where, it's very kind of go into yourself and move to the beat. And, and it feels very spiritual.
Yes.
And it's really enlightening. And I think it's somewhere along those lines as well, where people they really did have a spiritual experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of these people who became interested in spiritualism came from repressed kind of households or religious households that, they weren't allowed to express themselves. And now all of a sudden an archangel is coming to them and say, express. It's all create. We have to move through it. In a way, it's quite good, to be able to express yourself like that. But they went a little too far sometimes.
I imagine that there'll be a lot of professionals just going home and just going, look, I'm following an archangel now, and I'm doing theatre sports, and I'm giving up the practice.
Yep, don't worry about it.
The dental practice, and now I'm an alien now.
Yeah, I'm an alien now, and I will be saved.
Because these cults, they do target wealthy people. Sell your house and come live on the compound.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I've got 64 acres.
Yeah. The very small amount.
Set up a tent.
Yeah, come on over. So if you go to Unarius today, they have thousands of tapes, walls of wigs, and students still there who participated in these films themselves, all produced by Ruth and the students. So one of the films is called A Visit to the Underground Cities of Mars from 1977.
It sounds like we're going in a very Andy Warhol sort of direction.
It is insane. These films are just the budget. I don't know what it was, but they're so creative, and the crossfades and the lighting, and they did some really cool stuff.
Better than Plan 9 Outer Space from Outer Space.
Ooh, that's a tough one. But they were so influenced by movies like that.
Are these on the documentary? Can you see these on the documentary?
Yeah. So there's on YouTube, you just have a look, and then obviously the documentary has some of the footage and things like that, and they have the students that were in those films.
I'm gonna watch them tonight.
Please do. I'll send you the documentary.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, and there's other stories. There was shorter videos just specifically about the films. I'll send that as well. But It's fascinating.
It sounds like a nice version of Scientology.
Yeah. Like light. Scientology light.
Right.
Yeah. More costumes. More
Yeah.
fun.
And less like stalking people that have left.
Yeah. No. It was like, you can leave. That's cool because we're just enjoying life.
We're all
over
going to
here.
end up in the same interdimensional space
Yeah.
in the
Like, you
end
go with
anyway.
love.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll see you there. So, a visit to the underground cities of Mars depicts Martians who originally came to Earth to help us, but finding a cruel and barbaric world, most left to live in the underground cities of Mars.
Right.
They believe, though, that Martians did interbreed with humans.
Of course.
And this is how the Chinese civilization begun. Just take that in for a sec.
Okay.
So it was at this point that I went, looking around, there's a lot of white people in this this organization.
Yeah.
A lot of white people.
Yeah.
So I was like, look,
It's a bold claim.
it is a bold claim, and bolder still seeing some of the films where they are dressed as the Chinese civilization.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think maybe it speaks more to the time
Yeah.
than anything, because it's not that they're against it. They just believe this is how it begun.
Right.
So
Somewhat problematic.
a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit of problematic going on. Interestingly, these films did depict actors, I say actors, being able to speak to another being on different planets through a necklace in a video call style communication. So I know like Star Trek and Star Wars had their own like versions of communicators, but their videos had them talking to and being able to see the other person they're talking to on a necklace. Very like what we do now with our phones.
Oh, like Inspector Gadget's watch.
Yeah, but like they're holding, it's like necklace, jewelry style.
Right.
They can see the video of the other person. They're not talking. They're like telepathically communicating, or there's a dub over. But I just kind of found it interesting. I was like, yeah, we do that now, I suppose. So you did kind of get something right.
Right.
Like,
kind of forward thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Ruth would have been like, as soon as the iPhone came out, she would have been like, aha,
I saw that.
I knew it. So
It's kind of like wearing like a Apple Watch around your neck.
yeah, honestly, I thought that was really
Except for
interesting.
the telepathic bit.
So followers of Ruth held her in very high regard, fainting or weeping in her presence, painting several portraits of her, some of which believed to have healing powers.
Oh, I want one.
Yeah, me too. And they're beautiful. Like some of the paintings are just beautiful, actually.
Wow.
It's creative people. It's a creative space they're allowed to. But some followers even declined cancer treatments as they believed Ruth could heal them.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So we're getting a bit too far. Student Pamela said, when I met Uriel for the first time, rather, I knew I was meeting a master. She emanated this love vibration that was indescribable. She would look at you into your eyes and you knew she was beaming light into you. It was better than any medication or any drug I'd ever had. It was a beautiful, altered state of consciousness. I wanted to hug every stranger on the street. I wanted to hug every tree because this love just oozed out of me by being in her aura.
Yeah.
So-
Classic cult leader, though. It's all good until it isn't.
Yeah, and I think we're just lucky that Ruth, had a positive vibe.
Yeah.
Because she very easily could have turned it around.
Yeah.
Just
Like
the
alienated, well, excuse the pun, but, taken people away from their families and said, let's settle on an island.
Yeah.
Or this forest in South America. And I think a lot of cult leaders, they do enjoy being worshipped, and that it can lead to catastrophic events.
If they so want. But Ruth just wanted to be worshipped.
Loved.
Yeah, she just wanted that
Having
love.
portraits.
Yeah,
and
portraits of
costumes.
herself. Hello.
Yeah.
Peacock chair. Absolutely. So in 1979, Ruth claimed to have an unofficial following of more than 100,000. And as of 1986, a group of 450 regular students Charging $5 per class and assisted by her followers, Ruth recorded her teachings in about 80 books.
Wow.
So 450 regular students coming to listen to her. Yeah. So in 1988, Ruth broke her hip and her health began to decline. She had previously promised to live until 2001 to meet the Space Brothers.
Almost made it.
Almost made it. So her sudden decline caused mass panic among the students.
Although she would have had to live to 101.
Yeah, literally.
If she wanted to make, yeah.
She's like, yeah, of course.
I mean, it's not out of the question, but it is, it's a little bit of a stretch.
Considering she's 88 at this point and she's only just had like a major
Health incident.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Right.
She's not bad. In an attempt to help her recovery, students used past life regression to recall interactions with her, and some became very emotional after experiencing memories of events in which they had hurt or even killed her. So there was these huge, the students were going, we're going to do the therapies, we're going to do it. And they were like thinking of all of Ruth's reincarnations, and they're like, oh no, I was actually one of the guards that chopped her head off. Oh my God, I'm not like mass, like almost
Hysteria, yeah.
Yeah. So Ruth returned, making a quicker than expected recovery, thanks to the healing from the students, of course.
Yeah.
And after a period of good health, her condition deteriorated once again, losing most of her hearing and having chronic pain. Being in and out of hospital from 1989 to 1991, Ruth stated that the Space Brothers had given her permission to pass on before their expected arrival in 2001. Mm-hmm. Ruth E. Norman, Archangel Uriel, and leader of the Unarius, died in on July 12th, 1993. So close.
So close.
And was cremated. Oh, that's all connected.
Right.
In her will, she promised to return to Earth accompanied by the Space Brothers in 8 years. Students, some who were surprised and confused by her death, were instructed by leaders not to grieve because she was in her celestial state.
So she's died, but she's going to come back in 2001 in 8 years.
Yeah, she's going to come back with the Space Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. In whatever incarnation she has next. But I think it's because she's predicted that this is going to happen. This is when Earth is going to be saved. She's like, oh, I'm coming back. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
So after Ruth's death, student teacher Louis Spiegel took over Unarius. He was known as Antares, or the equivalent of Lucifer.
Okay.
Who had overcome his 19 million years healing from Uriel in this lifetime until 1999, when he also passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a big, I started to write about him and his story, but it was just getting off the rails.
Yeah.
Super interesting guy. He toured like Australia and New Zealand with his talks.
Really?
Yeah. So it might be good to do a little bit of a side story about him.
Yeah.
It was it's really cool. But yeah, he was known, or came to be known as basically their equivalent of Lucifer. So he came to tear down Ruth and Ernest's teachings, but Ruth managed to heal him in this lifetime. Yeah. So he took over from her. When he passed away, it was then a board of directors assumed the leadership of the organization. In the 2000s, Unarius leaders emphasized the organization's mission as focusing on individual transformation and a gradual spiritual change in humanity.
So it's been led by a board ever since?
Yeah, it seems like students who have been there a long time are leading everything now and keeping the organisation going.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's because, so often these types of organisations, they need that charismatic central figure.
But they have so much material. They've got all these books, the movies, everything. They just kind of follow on with Ernest and Ruth's teaching, basically. Yeah. There was a bit of a thing with Antares where, students were getting split up with the beliefs, you're shitting on Ernest's teaching and blah, blah, blah. Drama. It's about as dramaful as it gets, to be honest, from what I can see. But eventually they're just teaching mostly Ruth's teachings.
Right.
Yeah. So public opinion of the organization was strongly influenced by the 1997 mass suicide of Heaven's Gate.
Right.
A UFO religion whose members occupied a house within 50 miles or 80 kilometers of the Unarius Academy of Science.
Yeah. I was going to say it was in LA. It wouldn't have been too far away.
Not at all. So in the suicide's aftermath, some reporters and members of the anti-cult movement described Unarius as a similar group.
Like, when are you going to do this?
Yeah, when are you coming? Yeah, exactly. Others disagreed with this portrayal, casting Unarius practices as no more dangerous than other widely accepted religion. So what happens now? The aftermath of all this. Today you can visit and welcome your cosmic neighbors by visiting the El Cajon location. As of today, last weekend marked their 40th annual interplanetary conclave of light celebration.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like a party.
It was. And talking of costumes, they are all dressed up. Some of them wear Ruth's old costumes and show them off, and it just looks fun. It just looks fun. So that is at the Academy of Science, a celebration recognizing we are not alone in the universe, exploring the positive development of AI, future technologies for our world, listening to panel discussions with UFO contactees and they're sharing their encounters.
Yeah.
I wonder if Terry's been.
Ooh. Yes, I want to know what Terry thinks about this.
Yeah. Celebration of art, music, film expression, even displaying Ruth's costumes, with the main event being the release of 33 white doves to represent peace.
Okay.
So this year, so they do it differently every year. It's quite an event.
Yeah.
How are we going to release the doves this year? And this year, the doves came out of the UFO on top of the Coupe
car.
de Ville to the sounds of 2001 Space Odyssey main theme.
Oh, my God.
Yep, it was available online to view or even participate on Zoom.
Wow.
Yep. Followers to this day still become emotional when talking about Uriel. Quote, she's a master that came to the planet with a special mission, explains Unarian Paula Rich Greenwood. To bring forward these energies and the scientific healing teachings so that man could learn to heal himself through understanding of past life therapies. It's clear that whether the 32 spaceships are to land on planet Earth or not, Unarius blends the understanding of science and spirituality through creative expression for all who wish to participate. No matter your background, history, or previous beliefs, all are welcome to experience the positivity of what the world could be and possibly will be again. Wherever she is, I hope Uriel is enjoying her journey across the stars. We can all bring a little bit more positivity to our world for a brighter future.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so rare to hear about a cult that doesn't end in catastrophe, that
Right?
actually has a good message.
Yeah. For so long.
And that doesn't end up with people being bankrupt and
or
losing
dead.
everyone. And
Yeah.
or dead.
Yeah. Yeah. And for so long, I put this off. I was telling you, I put this story off a few times because I was like, I don't know if it's interesting enough. I'm really like,
I'd really like to look into it more.
Yeah, I think it's worth it because there is so much. I didn't even touch on their home planet, really, Ares or Eros. Lumeria used to be the continent of which these Martians lived on Earth, and LA is the last part of Lumeria. There's so much. So I highly recommend watch The Children of the Stars, a story of Unarius documentary on YouTube for free. They also live stream classes Sundays and Wednesdays, 7 till 8:30 online, and you can visit unarius.org as well.
Wow.
And that is
They
the
make
story.
it so easy.
They do. It's approachable. You gotta go with the times. So that's the
Thank
story.
you so much. I feel happy.
Yeah, right? It's just
it's not really hurting anyone.
No, it's not. And I went way over that, I thought. But I just, it's so, as you said, it's so rare to find a story like, cult-ish, where there's a nice message at the end. It's be nice or the aliens aren't coming.
Yeah.
Be nice. Be nice to each other.
Be nice in fabulous outfits.
Oh my God. The outfits. I love them. Ruth's an icon. I hope she's having a great time going across the universe.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's to Ruth.
Here's to Ruth. And Ernest. Bless you, Ernest. It's Ruth, swear it out. Well, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming and hanging out in the fridge with us once again.
Yes. Tell us what you thought. Give us a comment. Tell us what you think.
But not if it's me.
Not if it's me. That's not the Unarius way.
No.
That is it. Oh my gosh. Well, until then.
Until next time.
Be creepy.
But don't be a creep.
That's what Ruth would have wanted.
You know, exactly.
Yay.